We're going to start today. My name is Natalie Schrader, and I am the AutoCAD electrical instructor here at Applied Engineering. Today we are going to be covering tips in AutoCAD electrical. We are going to be covering using an alternate icon menu. You can use that to toggle back and forth for easier access to both the standard icon menu that you'll be using, potentially the NFPA or the JIC, and then you can also toggle to a custom menu that would actually be housed out on the network. Everyone would be able to have access to the same custom menu. This also allows for easier upgrades in the future, as you only have to add one line to the main standard icon menu, as opposed to the standard way of adding each individual component to that icon menu. We'll also cover how to use favorites in the catalog for faster searching within the parts catalog. So here I've got AutoCAD Electrical pulled up. I'm going to show you the standard icon menu here. Right now I've got the NFPA schematic symbols icon menu pulled up. You can see here I just have all the standard submenus contained in here, but I've also added a special submenu here of my own design. Now typically the way that you would go about adding icons to the icon menu is using the icon menu wizard here found in the schematic tab and the other tools panel. By clicking on that, it asks which menu file I'd like to modify. I'm going to use my ACE NFPA menu.dat file. Now this is just simply a text pad menu here. This is what the standard menu looks like. Now when you go to add a submenu to the standard icon menu, what this does is it actually adds both the line within the main menu here. So it would add a line within the main menu, and then it's also using this $S. It's going to also add the submenu underneath here. So right here I've got my main menu level, M0, and then for each line within here you can see there's menu 3. That would be found further down here. Here's menu 1, my relays and contacts. And there's my menu 1. So it's got the asterisk, double asterisk there with the M1. And that's going to call, when I click on this relays and contacts text within my main menu here, that's going to call this submenu for relays and contacts. And these are all of the icons that are found within there. So the way that the menu is set up is it has the text that's found with the menu or with the icon, depending on which level of the menu you're looking at. And then it has the NFPA, which is calling the NFPA DLL, which is all of the images that are contained within that. That's kind of a slide library is the old way that they did it. And then it's calling the slide here. This is calling this the submenu. Within there, we've got the text that's found within the, for that icon. Then we've got the NFPA, that's the NFPA slide library again, with the SHCR1 is going to be the slide that it's going to call, that's the image, and then this is the block that it will insert when that submenu is called. So it's going to insert HCR1. So typically what you do is you do a right-click, new submenu. You would type in a submenu name, select the image file that you're going to use, and then title your menu. We're actually going to do it a little bit differently this way. So what I've done is I've actually opened up my ACE NFPA menu. Now that's found within your support files here. So if you look, there's computer, your C drive, users, the username, app data roaming, Autodesk, AutoCAD Electrical, the version you're using, R20.1, ENU, which would be for the English, and support. That's where you're going to find your ACE NFPA menu. Typically what I do is just go to the C drive and then do a search for my ACE, and then whatever menu you're using, _ menu.dat. Once you find that, you can open up that menu file, and this is what it looks like. It's just, again, it's a simple text file. So instead of adding a submenu, what I've done is in the main menu level, I've added a line called my special menu. Now if you look at my menu here, my icon menu, when I open that up, I've got my special menu here. That's the text that's found down there. So that's the text that I'm showing on my menu. The image that I'm using for my menu.png is found in the images. Now that's located again in that support file. And if I just scroll up here, there is a folder called images. If I go into that, here you can see there's my menu.png. So that just simply shows the level at which that menu, that image is found. So the next part of this is quite unique. This is where it's calling actually a menu that's found out on my network drive. So this is a C command equals C load menu, and then it's the name of my menu file. So my menu is called mymenu.dat. If I go and look out on my network drive, there is a menu called mymenu.dat. Now this is found, this server that I have this housed at is actually at a different location. I'm in Fargo, North Dakota. This one's found in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. So this is mymenu.dat, and if I open that up, again, just another text file where I have my custom menu. So if I click on this, this will call up my special menu, and what this allows me to do is I can actually just add that one line into each user's computer, and that allows me to connect them with this custom menu at any location just by simply adding that one line to their standard menu, the special menu images.menu.png, and then this command prompt here to load that special menu file. So you need to put all of this in here, separated by the vertical spacers here, and that will allow you to call up your special menu. Now, after you call up your special menu, you're going to want to be able to go back to that default electrical menu. Now, how I've done that is in my menu.dat file, at my main level here, I have my default electrical menu. Again, that's just shown here. Slide that over. You can see the default electrical menu. I've created a slide that's found in that same folder where the menu is housed. That would be right here. So I've got my back to slide, and then there's the C, which is a command call to load menu ace-nfpa.dat. So that'll take me right back to that ace-nfpa menu. So that allows me to toggle back and forth between the standard AutoCAD electrical icon menu and my default, my custom icon menu. So within there, I've got my special menu icons, and once you have that called up, you can actually use the icon menu wizard to add your icons to this special menu as well. If I click back on the default electrical menu, it'll toggle me right back to that default menu. So this allows you to have two different menus, one with all of the standard components and one with all of your custom components, and toggle back and forth very quickly. Now this can be used for any sort of menu too. If you wanted to use some components from one of the other standards, you could pull a few of those in as well to your custom. The other thing that I wanted to review today really quickly is how to add favorites to your catalog searches. This really speeds up the way that you're able to search for components within a project or within your catalog. So if you open up the catalog browser, you can see here if I do just a blank search, I get 114,406 available options. Now, that's for every manufacturer and every catalog item. Now, I'm probably only going to use a handful of those in different projects that I'll be working on. So what I can do is when I select one, I can add that to my favorites list just by simply clicking on it. An submenu will come up where I can insert the symbol, I can show assembly details, I can go to the HTML link, I can insert the symbol as either a horizontal or a vertical block, or I can add it to my catalog, to my favorites list. After I've added that to my catalog favorites list, if I click on it again, I can unfavorite it. So I can remove that from my catalog number from my favorites list. Once I've selected certain components to be added to my favorites list, the way that I can access that list is by clicking on this Show Saved Favorites for current category. Now this is only going to show me the favorites from the push button, since that's the category that I'm in, or the family code that I'm in. So if I go to my favorites, it'll show me just a very abbreviated list from that catalog. Now if I switch to a different category, you can see here I've got a really short list for my categories that are available. That's showing me that these are the only categories which have favorites. So if I go to the fuses, I'm only going to get the favorites that I have for fuses. Now if I unselect this Show Favorites, I can go ahead and get a full listing again of all the fuses. And again, this list will also be much larger because it will show all the available categories or family codes. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sorry, I'm having a very difficult time hearing you. Daniel? Daniel, do you have a question?
No, it's a variation between the weight and the meter. Even though they're pretty far off, once you adjust it, the difference is still consistent, but on the third one, the difference is way out.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, Chris Scotia here. I have a please show the command line for switching the icon menus. So this is the command line here, the special menu. This is the line that would go into your default, your ACE NFPA menu. This is the text that's going to show underneath that special menu, whatever you want to call that special menu. This is the text for the image that you're going to use. And this just has to be somewhere where AutoCAD Electrical will find the image. So typically what I do is just put it in that images folder. And again, that's found in your support. Put that down so you can see it. The C load menu, and then you're going to have the quotation mark. And then this can be anything you want to call it. It just has to match that DAT file that you're going to use. Another quotation. And then the next part of it is the CWD underscore insert symbol underscore go to menu, and then a 0. And then the other part of that to get back to your standard file again is to open this back up, is to type in the other part of that. So this would be the default electrical menu, and that's just what I call it, the text that I was using. That can be really anything. This is the slide file that I created You can use anything you want for the image, and if you don't have an image available, it will just put in a default image there. It's not terribly important. And then it's the C, the $C equals WD underscore load menu, the quotation ACE NFPA. This is going to be whatever standard menu you're using, .dat, and then again the WD underscore insert symbol go to menu. Does that answer your question, Chris? There we go. Okay. Chris, did you get to see that? Let's see, I think you've got a few questions here that you kind of lost it. Did anyone else have any other questions? If not, I'd like to thank you all for your time today and show you my contact information here. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. And also after the broadcast, there will be a short survey kind of asking if anyone has any questions or suggestions for future topics for us to cover. I see we have another question here about the catalog database. Christopher, what's your question? So Christopher's question is, when the database is upgraded between versions, how can you preserve your previous edits? The way that you would do that is you would actually use the migration tool in AutoCAD Electrical. As long as you've made the edits within the catalog database itself in the AutoCAD Electrical interface, you should be able to use the project manager here and use the migration utility. So that preserves settings and files from the previous ones into the current ones. If you do go through the Microsoft Access, you can potentially break links between the Access database that it's being used here for the catalog browser and the browser itself. You can kind of break those links between the Access database and the browser. So that is kind of advised against to make modifications within the Access database. If you go through the AutoCAD Electrical interface here, let's get out of the favorites, and if you go to the Edits button here, you can use that to add additional catalog and manufacturer data to different categories. Right now I'm in the connectors and pins. If I wanted to add additional disconnect switches here, I can go through and do an edit. It's going to pull up all the records here. And you can go ahead and add additional lines to the catalog database as needed doing that. And that's really the most advised way to do it, is because if you need to add additional manufacturer data and that, you can go through the other tools and add an additional table to the catalog database, and that's really the best way to go about modifying the catalog database. Does that answer your question, Christopher? Okay. I have not worked with the SQL database in 2017. That's something we're kind of investigating right now as the features in 2017. The Smart Drawing template we've decided to save for kind of a part 2 of this webinar. I felt like this information was enough for one webinar in itself. So be looking for a Smart Drawing template in part 2 of this webinar. And we'll get that information out soon about when that will be. Christopher, I'm not exactly sure what your question is. What are the advantages to doing this, and would you recommend this? What is this? Oh, SQL. You know, I'm not terribly familiar with SQL. I haven't used that a lot, so I guess I can't really answer that question. If that's something that you'd like to know more about, I can certainly dig into that and get back to you about that. Do I have any other questions? The schedule for upcoming AutoCAD electrical training classes can be found on our website. I can show you right where that is here. That would be at goapplied.com. And then we have a tab. Well, we do have, under the goapplied.com website, we do have a tab that shows the training and upcoming training, and then there should be a schedule for those classes available on the side. For some reason, I'm not able to access that right now. Let's see if I can get that back up. Do you have any other questions while I try to get that website pulled up? Well, John, I'm afraid I'm having some issues trying to connect to our main website here. I apologize for that. Well, John, I'll tell you what, I can send out an email with that schedule once I'm able to connect to that. So if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank everyone for their time. And like I said before, if you do have any questions, please contact me and look for part 2 for the smart drawing templates. Thanks so much.